Give me 1 second. Hey, everybody, just joining us. Hang on 1 second while we get this new link over to the chat from the old stream, or the what was supposed to be the original stream. Just bear with us here for about 5 minutes. One. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Friday 3D Printing Community Hangout. Hopefully, you can hear us this time and see us, all of our wonderful faces, and our awesome panel, and our wonderful guest. So, we've done this intro once before, but let's go ahead and do it again. Um, This week on the Friday 3D Printing Community Hangout, we have Kayla from Buildtak. Kayla is the face of Buildtak, so to speak. When you go to the maker fairs, the IRFs, the MRFs, Kayla is the one that's usually there, at least one of the ones that are there representing Buildtak. So if you've been to those events, you've probably seen her. If you've been to Matter Hackers, you've probably seen her out there as well. Um, Tonight we're going to talk to Kayla about where Buildtak came from, what they make. They make multiple 3D printing products that are very popular, a lot of which the Chinese printers have made duplicates of their build surfaces. But there is only really one and true Buildtak out there, and you can tell the difference when you use it. So let's go ahead. After we talk to Kayla and after the questions are done, we will also be talking about the 3D printed benchy contest that is going to be put on by F3DPCH, MakerBox, and Paul Poxtillis at the EARF 2019 in Aberdeen, Maryland. So there will be some information about that after we talk with Buildtak.
Poxtillis. Is that how you say that? Poxtillis? Poxtillis?
I think. Paul, if I got it wrong, I'm really sorry. All right. So let's go ahead and do our introductions. The voice you just heard talking was Pooch. Go ahead, Pooch.
The voice you always hear talking is Pooch. We all know this. Yeah. Greetings, everybody. I'm Alan Puccinelli, aka Pooch. You probably know me as RepCord on all the socials. I also host a little shindig we like to call Community Catch-Up that shows up every fortnight on the YouTubes that Keith down there is plugging with his nice little ketchup bottle. So we have a good time with that, and I am excited to be here. Thanks for having me, Matt.
Absolutely. All right, next up we've got Tinkers.
Hi, I'm Keith, known as Tinkers on all the social. Mostly you'll find me on Twitter, and I generally am a technical guy. That means I fix a lot of printers, do a lot of troubleshooting of extrusion, and yeah, I also do happen to work for Protopasta.
All right, and that takes us to our star of the show tonight, Kayla. Go ahead, Kayla. The floor is yours.
Hi. Okay. So I'm going to start with the history of tech. That me if you have questions as I continue to just blab at this camera. Okay, so Buildtak was started basically, I would guess in like 2013 around the same time, but it goes back further than that. So Buildtak is part of a larger company called Ideal Jacobs Corp, which you may have seen if you've ever bought anything from us. It'll be the tape on all the boxes. So that's my family's printing company. We've been around for almost 100 years, which is pretty crazy and fun. But yeah, so when the patent expired, we got a printer because we're a printing company and we thought it would be fun to try and print in 3D. And we had the same frustrations that everyone else did, which was our prints wouldn't stick and we got super frustrated. Can you not hear me anymore? You're all making those weird, no.
I'm frustrated.
Yep,
oh, sorry, okay, because last time you guys made faces and I didn't say anything and I kept talking for a really long time. Okay, so yeah, so we were super frustrated and together the VP of operations, Mike, and my dad got together and
yeah, you're fine. Go ahead, Kayla. I'll stop you if we notice anything.
Okay, so yeah, so they got together and they concocted what is now Buildtak. They brought a couple sheets of it to a show in Chicago, showed a couple of people at the show, and everyone kind of lost their minds. Like, they gave out samples and let everyone print on them, and came back the next day, and everyone was like, wait, you, we need what you made, we're gonna buy it. So we got back from the show, and it kind of just exploded. The need was there, we made a product that worked, and it kind of was that sweet spot of we were there at the right time with the right creation. So it was really, really wonderful. So I came in right after Buildtak had started, and we were about to release the spatula. So this is our spatula. One of the things that I find super cool is that the spatula handle, we actually 3D prototyped. So all the 7 designs that we had before the spatula came out and made this mold was done using a 3D printer. We used our MakerBot Rep 2, which is pretty super cool. We have them all at the office. I want to do like a shadow box of it. But anyway, so we were the ones who made a tool that was really one of the first 3D printing tools made for 3D printing with 3D printers and hobbyists at mine. So why is this cool? Why is it kind of worth it? Well, there's a couple reasons. The angle is one, so you finally can come at the bottom of your prints instead of having to dig into it. It's kind of a selfish product in that sense because consumers were ruining the Buildtak and it was getting kind of out of control, and so we had to do something about it. So we created this. And then also there's a tapered blade. So as you're moving this under your print, you can act as a wedge, or it acts as a wedge, and it really helps with one of our most popular products, and by far one of the safest tools on the market to use to remove 3D prints. So from there, we came out with our flex plate system, which kind of revolutionized how 3D printers are packaged at this point, I would say. I know it's a bold claim, but at this point, I would say we were the first ones that came out with a flex plate system that now has basically become a standard operating for 3D printers. As Pooch is showing that off, yeah. So guys, if you can imagine, when we got our first stacker plates, those bad boys, oh my God, they make such a decent wobble. It's so fun. I got yelled at the office because I was wobbling them around the office all day. It was so bad. But yeah, so there's 3 components. There's a magnetic base, our flex plate, and then I have a Buildtak sheet, but there's a big spot on it because I've been trying to print and my printer has been having her diva moments, so we're just going to ignore that. But yeah, so why is the flex plate system amazing? So one of the reasons is you now have a removable plate. A lot of people, some of their machines don't, especially some of the smaller ones. This gives you a removable plate, and you can snap them on and off because there's a magnetic base. It gives people a lot of flexibility that they didn't have before. And for a premium upgrade, it kind of enables you a whole slew of options for your printer that used to be really one-dimensional. The other really fantastic part is that you can pop your prints off. I really don't ever want to live in a world 3D printing without a flex plate again. I get really mad when I have no flex plate. It makes me very sad. And the market would agree with me. I mean, we've seen all the machines coming out recently, and it's kind of insane. It's now an absolute standard, and, you know, we did that, so it's pretty cool. And then one of the cool things that we're doing, which is one of my brainchilds, which has finally come through, is we're doing our custom sheets. So this is our 4th of July one, which is, not gonna lie. So that's one of the things that we're trying to promote, is that we can do custom sheets. But the other thing that we've been teasing for a while has been this guy, which is the new pocket tool. I don't know if any of you guys have experienced this frustration, but as like a new to the maker community, having to buy sets of 16 things to get that one Allen wrench was absolutely infuriating. It was just ridiculous. And me traveling with the Buildtak show, you can imagine how many times people were misplacing tools or whatever, and I was having to buy sets and sets of them. So I now have like 3 sets of Allen wrenches that are missing the 4 most essential ones, which is great because we need that. Yeah. So he's holding up. This is what came of that idea, was that I wanted something that was super easy to use and would fit in my pocket so that I could have everything instead of having to lug this crazy thing around. So I don't know what the
bottle opener too. That's key.
I mean,
Bottle openers for after you're done. It's for success.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect.
Celebration.
And you get to the end, you get your beer, you know? But yeah, I think it's cool. It's got 5 tools on it. It's really versatile. It can be expanded. That's one of the things that we're working on, is being able to give add-on tools for people that want to add on to it. I really, really think it's a really great essential basic tool that's going to be a really big hit for our new to 3D printing people, especially because it really has a lot of the basic stuff that you need in here. And then there's also,
what was that, a hex wrench on it, or like it was like an enclosed end one though?
Yeah.
Yeah. What size is that?
Actually don't know. I will find out.
It's probably 7 millimeters for a nozzle.
There you go.
That would be my guess too.
Keith, you're so great as my backup on this. It's like if anyone asks me about installing PEI, I don't know, because my printer doesn't have a heated bed, so I've never had to do it.
And it fits in an Altoids tin?
Yeah! Isn't that genius marketing?
That's awesome.
Look, it all fits. Yours is going to have like an infographic on the inside. Mine didn't, because obviously they didn't want to waste it. But yeah, so it all fits in this little Altoid tin that should fit in your pocket. It fits in a girl's pocket in the back, which is saying something.
Does it come with any Altoids?
No.
I could definitely use
saying that when we ship these, we can ship them with candy. Buildtak normally ships them with candy. I'm hoping that maybe
I have candy.
Hey, Kayla, did you mention the wires that come with it too? Because you mentioned the tool, but not the other pieces, I don't think.
Show them. There's nozzle cleaners that come in here, but like, I don't. Oh.
Syringe.
There you go.
Wow. And you had a red one too, so there's different sizes for different nozzle sizes, I'm assuming?
There's 2 sizes.
2 sizes.
So it's a good basic starter kit, and that's really what it was designed for, is just, instead of having to go out and spend all that money on every tool set, you can go and pick this up, and then, if you need more, you can easily build off of it. It's also really nice to be able, for my trade show folks, that they can just easily pop this in their pocket and not have to carry around this massive bag. So that was kind of the inspiration behind it. So we'll see how it goes.
So you're going to bring a whole bunch to Earth and sell it to everybody who's looking for that Allen wrench, right?
Well, we're not selling it to Earth because I'm really pissed about having to fill out a whole slew of paperwork to sell. So we're going to be raffling them off. And by raffling, I mean giveaways and then promos with that.
Neat.
Yeah.
So they'll be on them. I was going to ask, there was a question in the chat about it being at Earth. So they'll be to market by Earth, or when are they going to be available for purchase?
So I'm hoping that they're available by August 31st.
By August 31st.
We'll see if I win out on that. I've usually lost on most dates, but yes.
Do you know the price point on it yet?
Yeah, $29.99.
Are you out of your mind? $29.99.
Yeah.
Awesome. And how many tools?
5. Well, there's 5 uses and then 6 tools. There's 2 nozzle cleaners.
Nice.
Cool.
Yeah.
So, what made you guys think of this product? Was it just, scrambling around the office looking for all the tools that you need for your printer? What inspired you guys to go that direction?
It was me, honestly. Buildtak is like a really interesting company, right? Because we're a niche market within a very interesting time. So a lot of people are approaching the market from printers, and we're approaching it as we're making accessories for the printers. We're trying to figure out ways to make the consumer experience in the FDM market better. And so you're kind of in a weird boat on that, because you kind of have to feel out the market to find the problems, to then solve the problems, to then create products for them. So you kind of have to be ahead of the game and behind the game at the same time. So this product is one of the ones that, from a personal standpoint, was something that I felt like was the spatula work. It's like people have adapted. They have they have all their tools ready, but I felt like this is something where people would really appreciate having something that was super convenient. Someone thought about, oh, well, these would be the things that I would need right off the cuff. It'd be really easy, and they're safe. I can see schools using them. I can see parents buying them for their kids. And it's a bottle of counterpart, so we can just say it's for root beer that comes in a bottle. Yeah.
How long was it in development for?
It's been in development for 2.5 years. Thank you for asking that question.
Wow.
I've been working on this for 2.5 years. The original one was prototype. Oh, wait, let me see if I can find it. I have the original.
Cool.
Oh, I thought I had the original. Mine says prototype on it. Aww. C prototype.
Oh, it's so shiny.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. Prototype pocket tool.
Yeah, so there was this one, 3D printed one.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah,
Check
and
out.
there was this one. Yeah.
That doesn't fit in your back
That's
pocket.
in your back pocket. Then there was another one. And then there was another one. Yeah. I've been through many iterations.
And then how did you decide to settle on the final design? It was just the right size, had everything you needed, nothing you didn't?
It ended up being one of those things where I had this original design in mind. Through the aesthetics of the market, we thought it needed to be a little bit more. And then we continued to circle around this idea for about a year and a half. And we came back to the original idea, and this is how it just flushed out. I don't know if you guys have, Pooch, you know product development. It's like a crazy process of just like decision making and crunch time, and you do what you got to do to get it to market. So I think that's what led to where it is today. Yeah, we were originally going to try and injection mold a case. That turned into a huge undertaking of having to design it and like get it everything, which is why we kind of went with handheld mold to fit into a really dry case that was pretty standard.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a really satisfying feeling though to finally see something of your design come to fruition like that. So that's
my baby. Yeah. Really.
Well, congrats on finally getting it there. Was there a committee that you guys all had to agree on, or was it like you weren't ready to pull the trigger until the version you just showed us?
Well, I wasn't ready until I thought, I just had in my mind bringing it to Murph and showing it to people, and whether or not I was willing to deal with people seeing it. Showing it to you guys and being like, I'm ready to do this or not, was really my critique, because I tend to like to throw myself into the fire, into the most critical components. So I was really thinking about what would the worst person say, and until I was ready to take on what the worst person was going to say, I wasn't ready for it. So that's why it's taking so long. The first one that we did, I was like, we're not doing this. This is not going to work. That's why it took so long. We also had 3 different people designing it.
So changing directions a little bit. Paul asked in the chat how many sizes are available for the FlexPlate system.
Oh my goodness. I don't know if I have a total count. I can count them.
All
Not all of them, but most of them. We don't have a 24x24 FlexPlate system. We don't have one for BCN Sigma. We don't have a couple. I will say though, yeah, someone asked for that. I'm terrified to even go down that road. But yeah, we make it as market demand. So once we have enough where we can reach our minimum orders, we put it on. So I think we're pretty well going through it. We have a wide variety of sizes.
And shapes? circle?
Yeah. Well, we have a few circles. There's been not as many custom. It's been just like custom sizes in regards to people want like printer belt situations and people want larger formats. The meter by meter is starting to get momentum, but there's not as many. I'm not seeing as many odd shapes or deltas as much. I don't know if you guys.
Meter by meter. Ooh.
Yeah, meter by meter. That's been fun. Can you imagine how?
Only imagine like trying to like lay the adhesion, you know, down and not getting a bubble in that giant. You have to like roll on it or something.
No.
Or even just getting it straight, or my luck, it would be crooked until I was done.
Yeah, it would be like adding one.
So it's not even just the installation, it's shipping. So think about it, because you have to get it there, and if you kink it, it's messed up before you even get it there. So can you roll it? And it turns out if it's shipped rolled, it doesn't unroll well. So when you go to install it, it pulls up. So now that means that it has to be shipped probably in a meter by meter box. So right now it's just one of the most ridiculous things that we're currently trying to figure out how to do successfully without having to figure out how to make a meter by meter box to ship a single sheet of Buildtak.
Well, I can tell you this from my experience this week. If you really want to test your packaging, ship them to me. I'll ship them back to you a couple of times and let my FedEx, just use FedEx and let my FedEx guy deliver it. I just got a K40 laser on Monday, and my FedEx guy literally dropped it on my front porch. I have video of him doing it on my doorbell.
Did the tube survive?
It did, surprisingly.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, if you really want to test your packaging, Kayla, my FedEx guy's really good at it.
We're having a lot of resistance on this for several reasons. Because once it gets there, the installation that we've heard that works so far is using Buildtak, which takes about 2 to 4 days to cure for that large printer. So it's like you have to do it over a weekend and then maybe wait a day, like get distracted on Monday. And do it.
That's the epoxy stuff that like Carl was using on the White Knight originally. Is that the same stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Buildtak is really nice for installation on large sheets, but you do have to wait. If you don't wait, you'll end up with a bunch of bubbles under your stuff, and then it's no good.
People think I'm kidding, and I'm like, I'm really not kidding. Like when I say it has to, like, do not touch it. Resist the urge to touch it. Just leave it alone.
It's called Buildtak?
Yeah, we sell it on our website. Yeah, it's
so
well,
I think, to a turtle.
Yeah, no. Kind of.
I'm just thinking Tinkers has some of this, and just knowing what he did with his Magi Goo.
Yeah. Ta-da! It comes in a nice little sport bottle.
Cool.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing if you don't wait for the Buildtak to set up and you do it too quick, the bubbles are because of it off-gassing, I'm guessing, as it cures? Is that what causes the bubbles?
I don't really know. All I know is I had on the form bot, I put a nice new sheet of PEI on it, and I didn't wait 24 hours. I waited like 16. I heated it up, and I just got bubbles all over it. I just cried because I had done such a nice application of it, and then I just had bubbles everywhere, and it was just like, Kayla, can I get a new one?
Hi. Yeah.
So you guys offer custom Buildtak sheets now that you can get your logo and things like that printed on. How do people go about getting that?
Send us an email, info@buildtak.com. So the custom has a 50 minimum order quantity, not for the everyday user, but I think it's a really cool thing for people that do bigger pieces or for YouTube channels. It adds that extra branding, and also it's a fun component. I mean, we did this one for our 4th of July one. I love this one. The only problem is sometimes the seasonal ones get out of season since they last so long, which was really funny. I had a 4th of July one on for Christmas, and it was very disorienting. But yeah, it's a super fun thing that we do. And also, like, they can come in different colors. So one of the things that I was talking about was someone wanted instructions on theirs. So, like, if you're doing a project where you need instructions on them, for example, if they're in a makerspace and you want people to do a specific care, or like pooches, with the grid measures. It's a really cool way to do it and knowing that it's going to be there. Rules on how to use the machine, on how to clean it, on how to set up a file, anything that you want. Like, there's a variety of different things that you can do. And like black and white are just our standard colors, but we can do pretty much most Pantones. So it's fun when we get those like playful requests.
I got 2 questions from the chat. The first one is from Inside the Mind of Matt. He asked if you're working on a belt sheet yet. Like, I'm guessing he means a full continuous belt.
So the belt ones are email us. We're more than happy to get you set up with one. As far as I know, we're just doing it on a demand basis because they're so difficult to set up. They don't have the same process as some of our other situations. So they're made pretty much to order. So if you want one, just send us an email. We'd be more than happy to set you up with everything, tell you how it gets to you and all that stuff.
What is, just out of curiosity, what is the biggest size of Buildtak that you could possibly buy?
So on our website, we offer 24 by 24. We've made 24 by 36. We're toying around with the 1 meter by 1 meter, but beyond that, it's not really something we're looking to get bigger than, just because it's shipping-wise as a business, like a ludicrous undertaking to try and get these things with one.
Okay, let's rephrase that. Theoretically, how big of a sheet of Buildtak would actually be possible? Maybe not purchasable, but possible.
The 1 meter by 1 meter is pretty much as far as
that's the limit.
Yeah. Gotcha. Limited on one, on at least one dimension by that 1 meter cap.
Okay. And then the other question from Terry, where'd it go? Do you find that logos show up on the prints?
No.
Like,
no.
Do they make an impression or anything?
They will not make any type of impression at all.
They're under the actual print surface.
There's no texture to the logo.
There's no texture to the logo. It won't affect it at all. It won't impress into it. It won't come off on it at all.
Sorry. Shane in the chat. I'm not sure what he even means by that. Lauren, A-Buzz Design, said, can she get a custom unicorn glitter Buildtak sheet?
Lauren!
Is that a yes? Is that a yes?
Call me.
Call me.
Call me. For you, maybe. For anybody else, probably no.
Fine by me.
And Glenn answered Terry's question as well about the logos. With this, sorry, if you guys have, Keith and Pooch, if you guys have questions for Kayla, I'm just trying to keep up with the chat.
I got a question.
We're trying, I forgot to say, we're also trying to make 2 new spatulas. That's another thing. We're working on longer blades, which is really funny because at what point do you have to put warranties that it's nice? It's a new fun thing that we're looking on, because we're trying to make blades that can fit for like a 24-inch build plate and at least go halfway across. So now you have a blade that's almost a foot. But we're trying to figure out the right taper and then also how to keep the blade sturdy. But we're trying to get that out so that people can have a more cost-effective way instead of investing in the flex plate if they don't want the flex plate of that size, because it can be a nice chunk of change.
Okay, maintaining a 24 by 24 printer, I imagine.
Yeah.
Just getting a flat bed for something like that just sounds expensive.
I mean, I don't know what you're printing with that. I'm kind of intrigued, but yeah, it's something that
So I have a question, not to put you too much on the hot seat, but like, given all the alternatives that are out there in terms of build surfaces and stuff, you get asked a lot, like, how does Buildtak distinguish itself from like Ecotech or any of the other the Wham Bams of the world?
So we get compared a lot. I would say for the Buildtak surfaces, the easiest comparison is sometimes performance, sometimes they'll perform the same. It's when you remove it that you'll really notice the difference. The adhesives are different, and so you'll have a very different experience on removal with the Buildtak sheets. With the flex plate system, for the price point, I've heard the Wham Bams are really great to work with. I've heard their flexible plate isn't as sturdy as ours is, and sometimes that's difficult. I know that our temperature rating, we're temperature rated higher, so ours can work up to 120 degrees C, which helps a lot with certain materials, which makes ours a lot more compatible that way. But I think it's honestly one of those things where there are going to be 1,000 different solutions on the market, and everyone's going to pick the one that they like the best, and that's totally fine. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things about 3D printing, to be honest, is that we all have the same information, but we all filter it differently, and we all utilize things differently to create, and that's really cool. I personally, obviously, am severely biased. I think ours are made better. I think we have certain ratings that help print different things and have a lot more variety. But there's awesome other products out there. Definitely test them all out. I encourage people to try as many things as possible.
Are there different materials that you feel like, different types of filament that you feel like stick better or worse? Like you say, like, I don't really use Buildtak with ASA or G or.
So PET-G is more PEI friendly for sure.
Yeah.
Buildtak was originally developed for ABS printing, so ABS, PLA, Buildtak. What I have noticed, though, to be honest with you, is people are specific to, they just pick a surface and that's what they print on, is what I find a lot of times. People find their happiness and they stick to that. It's not necessarily what they're printing with. Sometimes it is, and people will swap it out and put multiple surfaces on different plates, or they'll have a PEI side and a Buildtak side. But a lot of times people seem to be really loyal to like one type of bed surface. It's really fascinating. I'm really enjoying, as I go through trade shows, learning that type of thing. You know, people find that one thing that works and really grab onto it and just like boom out. So. Okay.
Yeah, I can say from personal experience, it's different tools for different jobs. So I absolutely love Buildtak for ABS. I use it almost exclusively in my up minis, doing ABS stuff, and like it's just the right grip, like holds it and it releases fine and stuff like that. But having tried a lot of other ones and stuff too, I find some are better on PLA, some are better on, and then there's different surfaces too, right? You get the PE, like the powder coated stuff and the textured stuff, and the Wham Bam PEX, and the longevity is better on some than others. Like there's all kinds of different things. The temperature is an interesting one though too, because you guys actually use rare earth magnets on yours, and the grip isn't like the grip on the flex plate on for Buildtak is like so dang strong that you have to be careful you don't like slice yourself like dropping the thing onto the magnet sheet.
So one of the things that we were really worried about when we thought of this magnetic solution type thing was that our worst fear was you coming back to a plate that was spinning. That was what we just had this like horrific idea that we were going to release this thing on the market, and then every one was just going to release these videos of something spinning. That was like my horror vision. And so when we went to find magnets, we needed ones that we knew would withstand heat, and we knew we needed ones that were going to hold it down, because one of the other things that's really interesting is when you pull up on the flex plate system, everyone pulls up really hard and they get really aggressive because they're so excited about taking their prints off that it's also something that you really need to no, but seriously, think about it, especially kids and, I still get very excited. I'm like, oh my God, get it off. And so you yank on the magnets. And so you really need magnets that are going to withstand not only holding it down, but then the human that's interacting with it. And so I think when we found that, we found really, really great solution for that, and found magnets that would really hold up to people on the test of time, which so far it seems like.
Right.
Yeah.
A good question from
it's so funny because after printing with the flex plate, it feels like I don't want to go back to. There's times where it's still feels nice and classic to print on glass and use the Satin and stuff like that too. But for the most part, the surfaces have gotten so good now that it's kind of hard to imagine if I'm going back to not having some kind of flex plate. for me.
A good question talking about the magnets from the chat. Kit asked a little bit ago in regards to the flex plate system, the magnetic sheet, and the magnetic sheet. What is the max continuous temperature it can withstand?
It should be 115 if you're doing continuous temperature for a long period of time.
115 C.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you would be printing at that bed heat. Like, that's probably excessive even for ABS.
It's really excessive. It's
I do PCABS at 120 on the bed.
Yeah, well, polycarbonate's some finicky stuff for sure. I guess if you start getting into enclosures and stuff like that, then it's more of an issue too, right?
Yeah. And actually, Buildtak works really well on polycarbonate. I think it was MakerBox when they sent a sample out one time, actually sent a sample of Buildtak along with it to test it out. Or else recommended it. Yeah.
Oh, she's spatula sheet regarding the temperature, like, maybe I'm not reading that right.
I'm way back in the chat, Pooch, so if you got something, go for it. Okay.
I'm missing text, so I'm not going to take a stab at that. Blue tape.
Chris, Practical Printing, asked in the chat, does the awesome new spatula tool come in, or the awesome new tool, I guess he means maybe the new released one, yep. Does it come in blue?
Of course he wants to know that.
Oh.
You
can paint it blue.
There you go.
Yeah, just reprint these pieces right here.
You can make a blue case that it fits into.
Plastic dip it.
You print a blue case that it'll slide into. But no, it's gonna be our company colors are black, white, and red. So, unfortunately.
I think Chris asked that same question when we had Mosaic on too. So
he asked the question everything. He asked if we get a blue red product. He just wants to do everything.
Okay.
I'm a little obsessed with that color.
You know, he used to be part of Blue Man Group.
Oh.
Paul asked in the chat if there's any special educational pricing on Buildtak products available.
Yeah. You're an educator or a student or someone who deals with children for excessive amounts of time. 20% off. 20% off. You go on our website, you fill out the form, we get an email, we send you an email, you send us proof, we give you a code, it's good for a year. If you have any problems, email us again, we'll send you another email.
Hey Google, turn on the basement.
Okay, turning on the basement lights.
Sorry.
what was that?
Alexa, turn off the basement lights.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Alexa.
It's okay, Google, turn off the basement lights.
Keith made a good point in the chat, although wrong. You can use Kayla's business card as Buildtak. Is that true or false, Kayla?
Keith, you little stinker. I really just, you're frustrating. Oh my goodness, no. Please, for the love of God, do not print on the business card. The ink on it is really bad for you to inhale, but do as you wish.
Didn't you tell me at Maker Faire or something that people would walk by and take your business cards, and you could just picture them like taping a bunch of them on their bed?
I went to a treat. So I went to a hackathon and I brought Buildtak. I brought Buildtak for these students, and I showed up, and the cards I had left the previous day, they had tiled on to the print bed, and they were printing on. They were like, "Look, it works!" And I was like, "I bought this for you. Like, you wouldn't have to do that. Like, that's really bad for you. Please take it off." He's like, "Don't." And they were like, "Oh, we already like tweeted it." I was like, yeah.
I was talking to Andrew from 3D Gloop a couple weeks back, and his, they do deal with hardcore chemicals and stuff, obviously making gloop. But if you've ever used gloop, you know there's some stuff in it. But his favorite tagline is, if you use it responsibly and you don't be an idiot, you'll be totally fine. And so we've had a couple of conversations, and I'm like, I feel like it needs to be his tagline, like 3D Gloop, don't be an idiot, and it just applies to so many different things, right? Except you can't really tell your customers don't be an idiot as much as you wish you could, right?
I found, I can't say that as much as I I've found nicer ways to perhaps insinuate that without having to say it.
Be smarter.
Some people have questions, and it's a really interesting one.
Chris, Practical Printing, had another question in the chat.
Yeah.
Does Buildtak offer custom printed business cards?
Oh, I haven't asked that before. At this point, I don't think so, but if you're curious, might as well send an email. You never know.
If the price is right.
Yeah, why not? It could be fun. Our business cards are pretty swanky.
Can they be like unicorn glitter ones for Lauren?
Okay, so one of the sheets that I was joking about for G-Create 2 on this subject was Gordon said that he wanted 1mm rainbow grid sheets for the new G-Max 2 on an 18-inch bed. I was like, I kind of want to put this order in just to see what the order entry people say back because they don't kill me. But like we were gonna.
I think you might be missing a market there. I mean, there's just not nearly enough bling on people's printers these days, and it's just like huge opportunity there, Kayla.
Rainbows, yeah.
Something to make them stand up on.
Now your printer will look fantastic.
Yeah, I was thinking about trying to do a pride sheet this year. Ran out of time. Doing like a full nice like rainbow.
Speaking of custom colors and glitter, weren't you at the Protopasta workshop like last month?
Oh, nice segue.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made
What did you call that again?
My unicorn tail peel. You can't see it.
Unicorn what now?
Unicorn tail peel.
Unicorn tail teal.
Yeah, because I took their mermaid color and then smashed it with another color and then added a ton of glitter. So I decided to go mythical and like next of kin.
Hey.
There was a lot of unicorns in that workshop, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a marriage of a mermaid with a glitter bomb. Unicorn.
I mean, it's made with an intention. I've been trying for the last 2 years to make this mermaid planter. Some beautiful person online on Thingiverse designed it, and I've made it 4 separate times, and it cracked twice.
I'm gonna look it up right now.
Yeah, it's the tail one with scales. Hold on.
Mermaid planter. Okay.
Attorney Ryan was trying to make my Google order Buildtak flex plate system.
Awesome. There you go, Tony.
Kit suggested that you maybe should make business cards from Buildtak.
That would be really
for like samples.
Cool. It's super expensive, as much as I would want to.
Let's see. Is it this one? Can you see my the screenshot work or no? Maybe it didn't work.
It should work. Go ahead and try it.
Oh, it did. Maybe it didn't like.
It usually pops up another window saying, "What do you want to share?"
Yeah, it says I'm sharing, but I'm not seeing what I see, so I don't know. Maybe it's not working or not. I don't know. But
yeah, turn the camera around.
Turn the camera? I can't. What? You want to see my wall?
Wait, it's 1897.
18. Oh, I'm not. This isn't the right one then. All right. Well, I don't know what the heck.
1897.
1897.
Yeah.
Chris asked in the chat, can you personalize the PEI sheets too?
Okay.
Or just the old school?
Kind of, but no. So the sticker on the PEI sheets can come with your brand on it, but the actual, yeah, that's it! This is my like Achilles heel, man. It takes like 2.5 days. I've been trying to do it. I want it so bad. That's what this is for.
It looks pretty cool. It's got like.
I know! Wait, hold on. Wait, hold on.
Okay, let's see what you got. I'm gonna stop sharing.
I'm gonna try to get. I realized what's happening now. For some reason, Skype doesn't share that with XSplit, but give me a second and I can do a screen grab.
Oh. Do you need me to share it again, or you got it yourself?
Yeah, go ahead and pull it up again.
Oh, okay. It'd be easier if you just pulled it off your own. Whoops. Let's see here. Okay. All right. You see it?
That's.
Oh wow.
Of course not.
Here, just show Kayla's thing.
There you go.
Wait, okay, so I made it, but as you can see, I ran out of a certain color.
But that's not the color you made. But you're being very reserved until you got it dialed in before you use the prize filament, right?
He sent this to me. This is the mermaid one, and then
mermaid.
This is the original mermaid one.
It's
and then I went out, and then I got very sad when it transitioned because I didn't have any more. And then I've tried it once more, and it failed at like hour 60. It's like really hurts. And then and then I have this new fancy filament, and my printer's been having her diva moment, so I've decided to stop until she's like printing consistently to use my fancy filament.
People just tell you to change the heat break.
It actually.
We can't change the heat break on that system.
Just change all the heat breaks.
I have to buy a whole new extruder kit. I'm just like deciding whether or not I want to buy it.
I mean, why stop there? Why not just get a whole new printer? I mean,
at this point, I probably should. This printer is the first one that was brought into our office. It was abandoned as a workhorse, and I took him to orphan.
What is it?
It's a Whitbox BQ.
Oh wow! It's time. It's time, Kayla. It's time.
There's no heated bed.
Oh my gosh! Yes, it's time to get something new, Kayla.
It's time.
The last time when I was at the workshop, Keith yelled at me and almost gave me one of his machines because he felt so bad.
I can't even look at you right now.
I can't even look at you right now. Like, you only have one? And I was like, yeah, I only have one. He's like, I don't know how we're friends. Like,
friends don't let friends use the white box.
Friends have one printer.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Printer.
I remember back in the day, one print. Man, that was sad.
Yeah, no. It's a sad life, but most of the printers that I get go to the office, so.
Yeah. Keith, how many printers are you up to now?
Bajillion!
1 million.
I've got 6 in here, and there's a few in the storage.
I've got in here.
Well, yeah, that's a good qualifier. I mean, you got a bunch that you tinker with, pun intended, at work as well, right?
I mean, that's why I had to count them, is because it's always in transition. The number is always changing, because somebody comes to visit for a couple of weeks while he's sick, and then he goes out the door again, and so it's always in transition.
Yeah.
Kayla, is there anything with Buildtak that you would, with the Buildtak sheets, whether it's the PEI or the original Buildtak, that you would recommend people not print on them? Any materials?
Chocolate.
One of the things is do not clean it with acetone.
Oh.
PSA, do not clean Buildtak or any of our surfaces with acetone. Please don't. That's a bad idea. That makes a mess and people unhappy, especially me. Things not to print with it. I think what we've had. I guess PETG was a pretty bad experience for us with the Buildtak, but then we had the PEI and then we were happy again. A lot of times we print things until we figure it out, because when people have problems with them, we have to get settings to give them. So I'm also not the one who does that. So I'm going to say, not that I can tell you off the top of my head, but I can pass an email along to the technical guy and then share it with you to share to the community after.
Sure.
I'll second the pitch.
Sean Dual Dragon in the chat asked, is rubbing alcohol okay to clean the surfaces?
Yeah, you like 70%, try not to get above 70. I've used 90, it's fine, but I would try to stay in the 70 range. But just definitely.
The weak stuff? You say you use the weak stuff, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I've used the non-weak stuff and it's fine, but I'm
okay.
The official answer is 70.
The official answer is 70, but
it's not going to do anything. It's mostly water then.
No, 70%. That's not mostly water.
Mostly water.
Yeah.
I gargle with 70% IPA. It's pretty much water.
Chris asked IPA meaning beer.
I clean mine with a nice stout, Chris. like a
Someone
stout.
printed on beer though.
Printed on a beer?
Yeah, didn't they cover their build plate with a thin layer of beer to provide texture, and then they printed on it, and then it just smelled gnarly because it smelled like burning beer? Do none of you remember this?
I don't, but I wouldn't put it past somebody to do something like that.
This totally happened. I think someone put a coat of beer on their printer to like.
That seems like a waste.
Waste of beer.
I mean, there is buzz filament as well too, which does smell interesting.
Well, that's the byproducts of it, though. Just checking, keeping up with the chat. If you guys have questions for Kayla, tag either Repcord in the chat, Tinkers in the chat, or Friday 3D Printing Community Hangout in the chat, just so it stands out to us. Makes it a little easier to pick the questions out from the general chat. If you do have questions for Kayla, now's a really good time to ask them. Kayla,
yeah.
When somebody is leveling their bed for Buildtak, this is a lesson I learned right off the bat with my first Buildtak sheet. What is the recommendations for leveling the bed? Because it's not the same as printing on glass, correct?
Nah. So with Buildtak, I like to describe it as a full product, meaning that it's super specialized. If your nozzle's too close, it'll fuse. If your nozzle's too far, it won't stick. If you get it just right, you're a very happy person. But sometimes that does take work, and I do like to tell people that. Buildtak is one of those products that will take a little bit of time to adjust to. You're not going to need to smush down that first layer like you do into glass. Buildtak has texture on it already, so that's why you don't need to smush it in there. Glass doesn't have texture, which is why you have that added pressure. And so for Buildtak, I usually tell people to use a piece of computer paper and have it move freely between the nozzle and the build plate. Do a test layer and then considerably move it down from there and adjust. I know that there are other machines that have other differing ways of leveling. If you have a specific machine with a specific process of leveling, just email us. We have a lot of procedures on how to use Buildtak and how to use our products that are really custom for certain printers. We've also come out with things that are for specific printers. So really, honestly, if you have any questions, just reach out to us. We're really responsive, and we'll really get you that information, so that we'd rather you ask a question than to like ruin a Buildtak sheet, because it's kind of easy to do if you're not in the know of how it works with your machine. And it can be a really costly mistake for one thing that you like omit in it, which is really unfortunate for a lot of newbies. Because you really can cause a lot of damage on a sheet with not a lot of work. So I really try to encourage people to let us know. And then also, when you send technical support, here's one of the things. Photos are always really good. Photos help us to identify the problem. Because if you send us emails describing a problem, that could be any number of things. I think a lot of people here that have dealt with tech support would say this. When you send emails to us, the more information that you can load in there, even if you think it's irrelevant, or photos, the better that we can do our jobs to help you. So just try and keep that in mind, is that we get a lot of requests for what is this, how does this work, whatever. And I'm not there with you as much as I would love to be. And so I think that's one of the things that I'd really like to impress upon people, is that send photos. You're doing tech support and things like that. The more information that you can give to us, the better that we're able to help you.
Shane is like biting tongue hard. Poor Shane.
Yeah,
more.
The lack of pictures
smart
for tech support is crazy.
Yeah.
Well, and it's so funny, right? Because you'll get this beautiful or this really frustrated email of a problem that you think you know, and then you'll get this photo and it's completely not what you thought it was, and you're like, we've never have been able to solve that. I did not get that from this text.
Well, I got one today where he's like, my print came out really brittle, and I'm like, okay, well, can you send a picture? And he sends a picture, and it turns out the print isn't brittle. He's under extruding, and the print's falling apart because he's got bad layer adhesion. Well, brittle is a lot different than under extrusion.
Right.
Now, had I not seen that picture, we would have been focused on the wrong thing for so long.
So.
But see, to somebody that's new at printing, they don't know the terminology, right. And so all they know is the thing's not holding together, and so it just seems brittle, right? So that
right, exactly. Yeah, no, I understand where it came from.
to decipher that, though, yeah, you're right, without a photo.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's like emailing Buildtak and saying it doesn't stick.
oh, God.
What doesn't? The sheet? The print?
No working.
It's
No
not
working.
Yeah.
and it's like, okay, but like, what are you printing with? What temperature are you printing at? What machine are you using? Like, we need more information than that.
There are so many scripts.
Dude, one of my most favorite customers' response stories was I got an email from a frustrated customer. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning when they sent this. And they had a fused print on a Buildtak sheet, and they had decided that they read somewhere that they should put it in the freezer. So they put it in the freezer, and then their method of getting it off was to take a hammer and a chisel. And just smack the hammer into the chisel to pop the print off. Well, as I'm sure many of you can imagine, the plate cracked. So I got this very disgruntled email that was requesting that I replace the glass bed. So it's just, there's certain, yeah, I didn't get a photo of that though. I was like waiting for a photo of that one because I was like, oh, I hope you took a process photo of that. That would have been great. But yeah, so it's like things like that where it's just like, oh God.
I can see the response now. Dear sir, pound sand. Love Kayla.
Unfortunately, 3D printing is so niche. We need a website that like our support people in the community can like anonymously post, but it's so niche that you'll know who it is.
Well, yeah, that's exactly it. It's like I have to sanitize, for lack of a better term, a lot of the stuff just to be able to share some of it, because it's like, they're gonna know who that is, or somebody else is gonna hear it in the audience and be like, that was me. Okay, now I feel like a dork.
We gotta have a stream sometime with just 3D printing tech support. Be the topic. Not like, we're not providing tech support, but let's get the tech support people on here. Tinkers, Kayla, come on back. Get Shane on here to talk about like what helps you guys for tech support side of things.
Prusa has like a wall of fame, the support, outside the support room, there's like literally like a wall of fame of like their favorite, chat requests and stuff for commentary. It's pretty awesome.
But that's what I want. I want a Reddit for all these guys to post everything on anonymously. Kayla, another question for you about Buildtak. PEI sheets and the Buildtak sheet. If, let's say, somebody does make a mistake and they home their printer and the bed was too high and they rammed the nozzle into the Buildtak sheet, make that little dimple. Is there a way to fix that, so to speak? Not like, obviously you won't ever make it perfect, but like, can you sand it down to smooth it out, things like that, so that you can continue to use that Buildtak sheet? Is there any recommendations you have?
One of the things is you can sand it to some extent. I don't recommend it. It's something that you can learn how to do. Like, I know some of our customers have done that before to some degree of success, especially on older sheets when they lose their texture. They'll sand it a little bit. But a lot of times people just work around it in the sense that usually that dimple is on the side and they're not really printing from end to end, and so they kind of just ignore it. From a financial standpoint, a lot of people just I ignore it, most people do. If you crash the nozzle in, it depends on how far you really crashed it in and how good you got it, I guess. A lot of people, I think, just work around it. Most wouldn't swap it out if they did that, though, unless they crashed it in the center of the build plate.
Yeah, I was thinking in the homing position or something like that, where now it may mess with your homing or something like that, or press on it. Just if there were any ideas for people in that situation.
I try to print around it, to be honest. I guess at that point you could also try and see if a raft would do it, because the raft, it doesn't matter and you can pop the print off. Another way to go about it. But yeah.
Just get some tape and just like tape right over the gouge, right? And then
yeah.
There you go.
You can just like you just grab the Buildtak and you can just put a little like dollop.
Again, if anybody has more questions for Kayla about the Buildtak products, about the new product as well, the multi-tool that they're now selling, or will be selling, I'm sorry. Let's see that thing again, Kayla.
Yeah.
For people that have joined in after you showed it off, let's see what you got in there
So
again.
dark.
It's so dark. I know. I forgot that I don't have any light in this room, and then I chose to sit. So I'm like, I could get up and get a lamp, but then I'm gonna get up for like 5 minutes and try and find the lamp. So if
There you go. Keith's got
How
his
did
out
Keith
too.
get one already?
I know.
Not fair.
Okay, all right. So Keith also, you guys don't understand. I had Keith on Twitter for. I wish I could show you this chat right now. Keith was on Twitter for what was it, like 5 hours?
It was a long time. It was most of Saturday morning.
It was. I think I pinged him at like, what was it, like 7:45?
It was 8 o'clock when I responded. So
Yeah. I pinged him at 8 o'clock in the morning, being like, hey. Remember that time where we were friends and you know things? We're gonna do this.
While you guys are getting the tool out, Knack 3D Designs Carl asked, is there a limit to the amount of collars on a custom sheet? And is it a per collar cost?
Yeah.
That's a great question.
The price really increases about 10% of every color that you
You're try it again.
Your audio's
Kayla.
out.
My audio is cutting out. See?
Yeah, you're good now. I think it was just the connection.
So it's about 10% per color. So usually we try to discourage people from doing more than 3, just because sometimes 3 more don't always hold the same, but with the ones that we've been having with the custom ones, they've been coming out fine. So I think as many colors as you want, but a lot of people don't really bridge the past 3 plus a base color. We had one once that was like an Illinois Maker Lab, and they had a whole like graphic comic on it. It was super cool. I found those in storage the other day. They're kind of retro. They had like a full graphic on it. It was super cool.
Cool. So you said, as far as the tool user, hoping to get it to market by the end of the month.
Yeah.
And then you will have some at Earth for giveaways, correct?
Yes, giveaways. My apologies, I'm not selling them. You want to come and fill out the Maryland state tax form for Buildtak? Please do it.
One sheet. Seriously?
Kayla, is there anything else that you want to share about Buildtak? Any of the products, any of the history of the company, like even if it's about the stuff that you guys did before you got into the 3D printing space?
Let's see. Well, the company is about 100 years old. We've been printing in the telecom industry. So Buildtak originates from a company that does rail labels on ATM machines or the gas tank labels, the gas machines. But we do a lot of stuff like that. We actually do a lot of work for chassis components and electrical labeling and all that stuff. And so that really translated into when we made Buildtak, because now it's kind of interesting that all these materials that we were working with on the industrial side are now being printed on 3D printers and are like coming back around full circle. So we've really seen this industry through a lot of different kind of evolutions. Our family printing business started as printing brokers, so we were like really just doing memo pads and calendars and stuff, and to be now at this forefront has been a crazy shift, I think, especially when you look at it from my family's standpoint.
Is it just you and your dad, or do you have other siblings that are part of those business?
No, so it's me and my dad. I have 2 brothers. I have 7 cousins that were all more assistants. My group of kids, like go all the way back. But yeah, I'm the only one that came on board.
And where is Buildtak from?
New Jersey. And y'all thought there was nothing to love about Jersey. Now you know. Born and bred in New Jersey. We make it in New Jersey. I think the only thing that currently isn't made in New Jersey is spatula.
John Pickens asked for the Buildtak sheets.
Yeah.
What's the temp limit for that? I know we said 115 for the flex plate.
120.
120? And that's for long-term exposure, correct?
Yeah.
Like if you did a half-hour print, you're probably fine.
Yeah.
There you go. There's the new tool.
I figured out a way to show it. Woohoo!
What's your favorite tool on the multi-tool?
The bottle opener.
Well, for when I'm working,
How's that?
I like the bottle opener. Honestly, the Allen wrenches. I don't know if y'all have ever had to like source Allen wrenches. They're the bane of my existence. I've had to try and find them at shows so many different times, and it's literally the one thing that constantly trips me up. So having the ones that I need without having to carry around that whole hunk of madness really makes me happy.
Cool.
Yeah. But the bottle opener is also really nice and handy.
That's for the after party.
Yeah, it does good work. It does good work.
All right. Does Pooch or Keith, do you guys have any more questions or anything for Kayla?
I'll think of it right after we end the stream. I'll think of it then.
Of course.
Well,
that's what Twitter's for, right?
Maybe just like a non-Buildtak, but just a general 3D printing, question. Like, what do you feel most excited about, aside from a mermaid base? What do you feel most excited about, either that you want to make yourself or that you've seen in, like, where you see 3D printing going in the next year?
I personally am excited by the palette. I kind of have never played with one, so I'm really excited about that type of technology where instead of having to print, hold, swap filaments, whatever, I can have that at my fingertips. I think that's something that's super fun and can really save a lot of time for things that I'm doing now. I think 3D printing is at a precipice right now. We're currently at a stage where we're starting to gain traction in the industry, but I personally believe that there's going to be a point where we're going to need to start standardizing how parts are made and the materials that are used to make them in a more UL certified type of manner. And I think that that's going to be a huge thing to hit our industry. And I'm really intrigued to see what's going to happen when we start to have parts that need to be up to a certain standard and filaments that need to be up to a certain standard that's been measured and standardized over this industry that for a long time has been kind of running in all these different directions and as quickly as possible. And so I'm really intrigued to see that come. I also just think medically, some of the stuff that's happening is just absolutely mind-boggling. That's really exciting. Not that I have anything to do with it, but I think keeping up on that stuff and some of the stuff that I've seen at trade shows has just truly been wondrous. And I'm very excited for the things that will keep evolving from this technology that's now becoming more popular. I started this interview 5 years ago, and trade shows then are far different beasts than they were now. And the things that were thought of then that weren't necessarily possible that have now already been surpassed. It's just really fun to be here now at this moment in this industry with this type of production. And I think a lot of other people would agree in that sense that it's a special time in this moment,
Definitely. That's a really interesting point. I hadn't thought about the UL thing, because we are kind of still in the Wild West in terms of people kind of cobble together, and they really are kind of cobbled together when you look at even just the stuff that's coming out of China, and what we've kind of looked at as acceptable is, certainly not going to be acceptable as a mass market thing. You can't just be like, oh, it's going to catch fire and you just need to add this and fix this and it'll be fine. That's not exactly something that's tolerated.
Yeah, and the wondrous thing that just happened with the 11 situation, all these things that NASA's doing and the incorporation of 3D printing, all those parts, if they're actually going to go in space, they're going to need to have paperwork that says that they're going to perform exactly the same as all the other parts that are done during normal construction methods now. And that's something that hasn't happened yet. And as someone who works as part of her job on a manufacturing plant where that is a critical component of anything that we make, it's just a fascinating thing to think about, all these machines that are made and all these companies, said wild west, what's going to happen when we need to start having that standardized process, and who gets to do that? Who gets to say what it is? And it's just it's great.
Well, I mean, that's the interesting spot from a technical perspective as well. Is so many people assume that this has all been fully vetted and this is all time tested and everything else has all been out there forever. And it's like you realize we're still in this wild, wild west of 3D printing, and what's coming out today may have only been tested for like a month on a very limited situation, and you're actually testing it and using it in a different way than somebody else ever has. And it's like everybody thinks because it's a product on the market that it's been tested in every possible way, and it's like, no, we can't do that. You just can't.
Yeah, I wonder if that's something that's unique to our industry, or if it's just unique to any niche. You know, something that's kind of born of a, you know, hobbyist tinker type.
I think it has to do with the maker movement as a whole. We've got people that are doing creative and crazy things that are like, they see a pen and they don't necessarily actually see the same thing you do. They see different potential for whatever. Like they see the spring inside it for some application, or you know, they see the cartridge of the pen for something else, and it's all this. People see different possibilities of one thing, and so they run off on these tangents that you couldn't have come up with, and there's just no way. Companies don't have the resources to test all of them.
Well, and is that, I mean, in a way, that's the double-edged sword, right? It's like the barrier to entry to be a company to create a product now is so much lower because we're able to leverage things like 3D printing to create our parts, and we benefit from the fact that there is not standardization and there is not regulation, but there's definitely going to be, you know, like anything, regulation follows, you know, the behind a little ways, right? And so if there's money to be made, or if there's lives at stake, or any of these things, like eventually there's going to be legislation around it and all that stuff. So it's tough because we don't want to stifle innovation. Like I think it's really cool that, you know, makers like you or I or whatever, we can come up with a product, we can get it to market, we can get support, we can start to grow it, and then there's an acceptance of, to some extent, that when you come across stuff, like, it's going to get improved upon, made better. And, you know, we are very accepting of the fact that a lot of the printers we get, you know, you can just flash the firmware and it'll improve. And so we're willing to take maybe a risk on something that's bleeding edge, knowing that it will get better over time. I guess it depends on what it is, but you get the point.
Right.
But that's a really unique thing in that doesn't apply to mass market. Like, it would never fly for your average person that knows nothing about a 3D printer that just wants to plug something in and have a part replicated for them.
Right, and that's I think the very much the double-edged sword with this stuff. It's we bring the price down so much that the barrier to entry is so easy for somebody to go and buy one, yet they don't realize how much work they're going to need to do, or how much they need to understand to actually get something out of it, because the marketing folks are like, you hit this button and it goes. And the technical guys are like, no, that's not the case.
Yeah. I mean, that's been the case from, you know, times like the salespeople always overpromise something, makes the engineers flip out and all this stuff. But, you know, the palette, you talk about the palette, Kayla, because, you know, it's cool. We're starting to see the multi-material revolution happening, and obviously it's something that's near and dear to me. But that's a fantastic example of a really cool product, and they've spent a lot of time, you know, trying to get it to a certain place. But by no means is that thing a plug and play. You know, there is a learning curve. Matt can attest to this. Anybody that's used it, and when you get it dialed in, it's really cool, and it's really neat the depth that you get by just adding a couple colors to something that really kind of brings printing to another level. So I like the idea of seeing that, but setting expectations, as you say, Tinkers, is a huge part of that. And, you know, saying, like, if you want to be part of this, like, you need to be willing to take it apart or work on it, or, you know, and for a lot of people, they don't understand that yet. And so that's, you know, that's where it gets a little messy, I feel like, on the fringe of people trying to get into the crowd, you know, the 3D printing crowd.
Kayla, what's we talked about kind of industry and what you see being in the future for 3D printing in industrial, commercial applications. With being involved in the 3D printing industry, what do you see as being the next big thing for home 3D printers or hobbyist 3D printers?
Well, I think resin. You know, like, I mean, I don't, it's hard to say right now. I'm, like, honestly, the industry is at, like, a really big deal.
Hey, Keith, your keyboard's really picking up.
Sorry. I'll see what I can do about
Sorry.
that.
The thing that I'm seeing is an increase in interest in resin printers. There's more that are coming out to the market. There's more that are coming out. They have a greater precision. They're just a lot less safe to work with, and it makes me very nervous. To be honest, I mean, it's like, you know, we had that ABS situation where everyone was like, oh my God, everyone print with ABS. And then it was like, wait, you need these air filters. And then we put them in all the schools. And then all the schools were like, oh my God, now we're killing our children. And then they were removed from the schools. So it's like, there are certain things where, like, especially with this one, where it's like adults are even like, nah, this is something we got to be serious about. It just makes me very nervous because a lot of times, especially in this industry, people learn by doing the wrong thing, and in this instance, I just hope that that's not the case.
Yeah, hopefully not learned by suffering.
Yeah, I really hope with that one. I think also people are really intrigued by the printer belt. That got a whole oodles of attention when that was released at MERP. I think people are really intrigued by the printer belt idea and the idea that the White Knight, yeah. Carl's idea. Carl, yeah, he's got a new baby that he's working on as well. I know. So that idea is also taking huge interest. What I'm noticing, especially people that want to build them.
Yep. All right. If the panel doesn't have any more questions for Kayla, and there's nothing else that Kayla wants to share, we can move over to the Earth competition if you guys want to.
Do it.
All right. So this saw at Earth 2019, there will be a Benchy print-off contest. This is the brainchild of Paul Poxtilis. He's done some things like the 5-head E3D changer that's inspired by our microscope to change multiple print heads, or tool changer design, I should say. Paul came up with the idea of doing a contest for a 30-minute Benchy and judging the 30-minute Benchies printed at Earth 2019. And then also doing a category for a 60-minute competition as well. Paul talked to MakerBox, and MakerBox is going to supply the 3D printing filament for the competition at Earth. The Benchies will be actually printed at the show on Saturday. You can't print your Benchy and say, oh, I did it in 30 minutes and bring it along with you. So MakerBox is going to sponsor the filament or provide the filament for that. And what we're going to do... Hang on 1 second.
Can you guys hear me again?
Yeah.
Did it clear up? Okay, sound good?
Sounds like a walkie-talkie now.
It does
sound like a walkie-talkie. I wonder if I bumped the switch. Hang on.
Is that a snowball?
Please.
Yep. How about now? Okay, back to where it was. Am I good enough?
Yeah, you're good.
That way. Okay. So, yeah, where was I? Paul's idea was to have a competition of printing a Benchy at Earth in 30 minutes or less. And what we've decided on is that we're going to award points for if you're under 30 minutes. So at Earth, you'll come to the F3DPCH booth to get your filament. And from the point that you get your filament, you have a 5-minute grace period to get back to your table and begin your print. After that, your time will start. We'll log the time that you checked in. We'll subtract probably, I think it's going to be about 5 minutes. I got to talk to Paul and confirm that from your time. but then when you bring the benchy back to the F3DPCH booth, we'll mark the time again. So that'll be your time, your 30-minute time period. If you get in under 30 minutes, you'll get bonus points. If you're over 30 minutes, we'll subtract points. And then we're going to have probably 5 judges that are going to judge different characteristics, which we're still working on the complete list of them. But some of those things will be dimensional accuracy of the benchy, print quality, under extrusion, over extrusion, those kind of things will hurt. Overhangs, your bridging capabilities, all that kind of stuff. All the different calibration things that you look at in the 3D benchy when you print it to get your printer dialed in. We're going to look at all that stuff, and we're going to give each one a score, and then we'll take the timing and include that into the score, either adding or subtracting points. So we're going to do a 30-minute, and then we're also going to do a separate 60-minute contest too. Right now, I can say officially we have MakerBox is sponsoring the filament that's going to be used, so everybody is level playing field as far as print material. Everybody will be using the same material. Chaos Cortec and Chelsea and Garrett, they are our first sponsor of prizes for the competitions. They're going to be putting together a care package for one of the winners, and that will actually be at Earth. Chelsea's going to ship it out to me ahead of time, so you'll be able to claim your prize there. That's going to be items from their Etsy shop. So go check out Chaos Cortec on Etsy. They're, Pooch, is it Chaos Cortec or is it Chaos Core Design on Etsy? Do you know?
I don't know off the top of my head.
I'll put a link in the description after the stream. But check out their shop on Etsy to see the different items that they make, and I'd like to thank them for stepping up and being our first sponsor. If you would like to sponsor prizes, hit up F3DPCH on Twitter or F3DPCH@gmail.com and let us know if you'd like to sponsor any of the prizes. Right now, the number of places that we're going to award prizes for is all dependent on the giveaways that we end up having. So we have to wait to officially announce that. So if you're coming to Earth, come over to the F3DPCH booth and get signed up and entered to print a benchy as fast as you possibly can.
Sounds really cool.
So,
Matt, is there going to be a category for worst benchy? Because I would totally kill that.
What about
based on you winning the worst part for the F3DPCH logo, I think so.
I never got my filter for that even.
Wow.
Which one did you win?
I don't know. I don't care. I've got a little bit of filament back here.
A little bit, yeah, just a little.
I got to work through this first, so we'll see how long that takes me.
Just a little bit.
I didn't know you never got your filament.
All good.
I forget which one.
You still
I have to go back and look at the video.
You still have the glow turd?
No, I sent that back with you. Remember?
Oh, you did? I thought you were pointing at it like you still had it back there. I didn't know what happened to it.
No, I was just pointing the logo, the community builds back behind me. That's all I was pointing at.
Yeah. Well, I learned a thing or two about how to put together a CR10 that day.
Yeah.
You can get mirrored prints by swapping your X and Y axis.
How long did you use that printer before you found that out?
Like months. I just print a lot of symmetrical things, man. I have no idea until I started printing things with words on it. I'm like, I don't think that's right.
I remember that. You sent your part and you're like, I can't find it on the map or something like that.
No, it's like,
it's weird.
Did you mean to have the text backwards? No. Okay.
So that's the deal. Paul has talked a little bit about it on Twitter. Everything is still under the iron for sure. We're coming up with the guidelines as far as like what we're going to be looking for the ratings for it or the grading. But we're going to have some fun with it. I know Paul's been working at trying to find a reasonable benchy as fast as he can, and I think he got it down to like 42 minutes or something like that. So it's definitely going to take a skill set to show off your slicing capabilities. but we figured it's a good event to have at a 3D printing centered event.
So there's no restrictions on how you slice it. It's just got to be 100% scale and FDM?
Correct. We didn't talk about resin, but I don't know if you'd be able to accomplish it in resin that fast or not.
Speed resin.
I'm not sure. What's that? Speed resin.
Turbo resin. Yeah.
Just take your vat out, stick it in the sun, let it cure, and here's my benchy.
That holographic resin printer that they've been teasing for a long time.
There you go.
No, but like you said, the layer height and the nozzle size, like any of that is fair game? I mean...
Nozzle size, I don't want to say for sure yet. We haven't really discussed that, but by the next stream, maybe we'll have that part ironed out. Layer height, I think that's going to be open to the person slicing it. So I want to say with the nozzle that it really doesn't matter, because if we're going to have all kinds of different printers there, people may not have a 0.4 nozzle on their printer that they bring. So I don't know. I can't say officially yet on that part. But in 2 weeks, we'll have an answer for that part.
What about least amount of filament used? Or most amount of filament used?
Honestly, I was thinking about that. About having, if we do have enough sponsors for prizes, there may be some special categories thrown in there, like I did with the community build last year at Earth.
Yeah.
We had the heaviest part, the lightest part, the most, no, we didn't do most expensive. That was one I couldn't figure out how to judge.
It's made out of sintered cobalt.
I think one of the parts on there was printed in Collar Fab's Lux.
Yeah.
The $80 a roll filament, or $80 for 500 grams. I think one of those might.
You print one like Peak. It was like $300 a spool for that stuff.
Yeah. So there may, if we have enough sponsorships for prizes, there may be some specialty categories that we will announce, but that's all still in the works yet. So, but yeah, if you would like to sponsor the competition, reach out to us and let us know. The prize that you want to donate is completely up to the person who's supplying it or sponsoring it. With sponsorships, the benefits that you'll get from that is the documentation as far as the rules and everything that are at Earth will have your company's logo on it. We do ask that you guys provide like a media package for us so that we can use your official images and not just have to rob it off your website. Every F3DPCH leading up to then will, and including the announcement of the winners, will include recognition from the sponsors as well. So that's what we've got right now.
Paul says the 30-minute benchy is hard. If that's hard for Paul, we're all in trouble.
Paul's been trying. Dude, he has, I think, for the last 2 weeks, I think he's been trying to get it. And Paul wanted to use the benchy because it is a model that's out there that everybody has access to now. However, don't think you can sneak one into Earth and show it to us, because we are going to have a modified benchy for Earth. So it will not be the original benchy, but it will be more or less the same physical aspects. We're just going to have some markings on it to indicate that this was printed at.
We're worried about counterfeit benchies now?
Yep, yeah, we got to worry about counterfeits.
Yeah. 30 minutes. Well, you know, Paul, if you don't get your benchy in 30 minutes or less, it's free. So, that's a rule.
There you go.
Free benchies.
Filament's free.
I'm sorry, Paul. I've kind of been like talking and not really paying attention to chat, so I'm not sure what all he might have said. The Friday night hangouts part in this is helping with organization of it, but then also being the central place for it at the event. That this is the place you come to get it. That's kind of our part in it, as well as organizing. But Paul's been doing a lot of the work. That I gotta fully give him credit for it. It's his brainchild. He reached out to MakerBox. Actually, Chris Pileski informed me of the idea, and I started talking to Paul. we're putting on the event, hosting the event, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
So
it's a cool idea. I like it.
Yep. Yeah, I thought so too. As soon as I heard about it, I'm like, yep, I got to go find Paul. So that's it for now, I believe, unless Paul has anything else he wants to add in at this point. We'll have more information on the show and tell. What is the date of the show and tell? August 23rd will be the next U.S. F3DPCH, and that'll be the next show and tell. We just did the very first show and tell 2 weeks ago, and a lot of people liked it. If you have a project, product, or technique that you want, anything really, that you want to show off that in some way involves 3D printing, it doesn't even have to be the final product, doesn't have to, or final creation doesn't have to be 3D printed, but as long as it involves 3D printing in some way, you can go to f3dpch.com/show-and-tell and register for the next one. You can actually register for August, September, and October's show and tell shows. The dates are right on the form. So you can pick which one you'd like to sign up for. We had a couple people sign up and then drop out because they weren't quite ready. They thought they were signing up for just in general and weren't expecting to be selected in July. So go fill out the form if you'd like to show it off. We do the same format that we have here for the Friday night hangouts, going through introductions, and then we move on to the presenters. Each presenter gets approximately 15 minutes to show off whatever it is they want to show off. So we want to do that to expose more people to the community and expose the community to more people, as well as learning, being inspired by what others are doing. So kind of wanted to go a little bit back to the grassroots of the Friday night hangouts when we just sat around and talked about what we were doing. So with that said, do you guys have anything else you want to talk about tonight?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
Have a good weekend. It's Friday. Woohoo!
What's that?
I said have a good
It's Friday.
weekend. It's Friday.
Friday night 3D hangout.
Yeah.
Who's going out
with that?
You gonna go use that bottle opener, Kayla?
Hell yeah. I'll go for it. After work.
There you go. You should have that engraved on the tool after work, like right along the arch of it or something.
Yeah.
Or 5 o'clock somewhere. Okay, if nobody has anything else, next Friday night hangout is August 23rd, 10 p.m. The European streams, they're in the talks right now, figuring out how they want to come back from their summer vacation. So be on the lookout for more information on the next European F3DPCH, hosted by or organized by Martin from 3D Printed Iceland. We'll have dates and times as soon as they settle on their schedule. So, sorry. Yeah. The U.S. streams Friday, August 23rd, 10 p.m. That'll be the show and tell. And then we'll have a guest on September 6th. I will not be on that stream, so I am looking for somebody who will be able to host the September 6th stream for me. Or else we may just make that a bye week because I'll be on my vacation at that point. So thank you to everybody in the chat. Thank you to Keith and Pooch for being on the panel tonight. Let's go ahead and do outros before I forget to do outros because I was almost about to. So let's start off. Let's start with Kayla, since actually she's up there. Start with Kayla, since she's our special guest tonight.
I'm sorry, what?
Outros. Tell everybody where they can find you, where they can find Buildtak, and on all the socials and websites. Yep.
Well, Keith made me a lovely Twitter that I now have to monitor, which is at BuildtakChick, CHIK. So you can find me there, or you can send me an email. It's my name at Buildtak, so Kayla, Kayla, at Buildtak. If you can't reach me and you can reach these other people, they know how to reach me. I'm pretty available. A lot of, yeah. So yeah, just find me somehow. Let me know. Say hi.
And where can everybody?
Kayla, where are you?
Hey, I don't even know if people know my name at this point. People just call me Buildtak Chick. It's pretty funny. They're like, I really don't know your first name, but it's really nice to meet you. Like, yeah, I know, it's okay.
And where can everybody find their Buildtak products?
Buildtak.com. If you have Amazon, get that Prime situation, free shipping. Matter Hackers is a big distributor. And if you're in Europe, check our website. We have a whole bunch of people, but I don't know if you are, so do that. And then for Asia, we also have a bunch of distributors. If you just check our website on our distributors page, you can see everyone who wants to sell our stuff, which is great.
And if you're interested in custom Buildtak products, or if you have a question for Buildtak, they can email info@buildtak.com.
Info@buildtak.com. Yeah, we'll filter it to who it needs to go to, and they'll get back to you.
Yep. So if there's something that's not on the website you're looking for, email them, and they'll let you know if it's something they can accomplish.
Yeah, if it's custom, let me know. If it's weird, let me know. We've had some random requests before, and we do our best to try and see what we can do for you guys. So, yeah, even if it's not on our website or standard, let us know. You never know.
Cool. Thank you, Kayla, for coming on tonight and showing off what you guys got.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. This was so much fun.
All right, let's move over to Pooch.
Pooch, Repcord, Community Catch Up. Check it out. I'm out.
Short and
that
sweet.
leaves us with Keith.
Yeah, Keith, tinkers all over the social media. And yeah, I do actually happen to work for Protopasta if you need to reach out for that. Info@protoplant.com. And we're always here to help people if they're having problems with our products. So.
And you will all three be at Earth, correct?
Correct.
Oh, yeah.
And Keith, what's as if nobody knows at this point, what's Protopasta doing at Earth?
Protopasta is bringing half the team, and we are actually going to make filament right there in front of your face.
It's going to be so exciting!
It is. It's going to be wonderful.
Are you doing like custom stuff? Are you just going to make stuff like for giveaways? Like what's going to become of it all?
I don't know how much I can say on that. It will be limited because of the time frame and because the extruder line is going to be shorter, production quantity will be less. So as a result, we're having to modify stuff. But we will be making it on site, and people will be leaving with filament. I just don't know exactly how that's all set up to be, the amount or what colors or anything like that.
It's so exciting.
I admire the ambition of that whole thing. I can only imagine the logistics behind it.
I'm really...
I can't wait to see that. That's going to be pretty cool. So I'm Matt from How I Do It. You can find me youtube.com/howIdoit. There's not a lot of activity on there, but you can't see it because the Friday Night logo is covering it up. Just got a K40 Chinese CO2 40 watt CO2 laser. I plan on doing quite a bit with that, and at the same time getting back into making videos. I'm trying to kick my butt in gear and get some stuff uploaded. So you can find me youtube.com/howIdoit. Twitter, I'm @CountryCowboy, and otherwise, howidoit.tv is the website and blog. So thank you, everybody, again, for joining the Friday Night Hangouts. If you want to follow the Hangouts, you can follow us on Twitter @F3DPCH, on Twitter @F3DPCH, or you can go to the website, F3DPCH.com. F3DPCH.com/live will always get you to the last stream, or once we go live, it'll bring you to the current stream, except for this week because of the technical difficulties. If you are interested in being on the panel, there's a form on the website you can fill out with your information. Currently, it's asking for your Skype handle because that's what we're using tonight. And I do apologize for any audio, video issues, and the issue at the beginning of the stream with us being a half hour late due to technical problems. That was all because of this new format with Hangouts on Air being axed from YouTube at this point. So we're going to continue to try to improve this, and if this doesn't improve, we'll move on to a different platform and try something different. So thank you, everybody. Again, thank you again, Kayla, Keith, and Pooch. Thank you guys for coming on, and we'll see you guys in 2 weeks. Have a good one, everybody.
Later.